Right, so Egypt's parliament is set to vote on a series of constitutional changes that could allow President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to stay in power for another decade. Critics are calling it a power grab, but Sahar Nasr, the Minister of Investment, says more time is needed to open up development as well as investment.
If I look at Africa, it's not just a 100 million population, but a 1.2 billion population, taking into the African market into account. So this is how we're positioning Egypt, and this is how we see the numbers actually picking up and increasing.
I find that fascinating. So the continental free trade area, which Africa is trying to open up borders, free movement of people, free movement of goods, at a time where the rest of the world is just shutting down in terms of trade. Well, they're becoming a lot more protectionist.
Yes.
I mean, do you think that it's going to be something that we can look forward to in the next few months? I mean, implementation and talk, two very separate things.
Yes, but in Egypt, we are actually walking the talk, and that's very important. First, I want to reflect on the point that you've mentioned. It's very true that what's happening globally, the slowdown and the various trade wars, that's also, despite all that, the economy in Egypt, as you've highlighted in the very introductory statement, has been picking up. You see that the GDP growth rate is 5+, and that's leading the growth rate in MENA region, as highlighted in the outlook here in the World Bank Group. But in terms of free trade, we see that at this phase it's important for Africa to integrate, and that's through various infrastructure projects, connectivity and inclusiveness, because Africa region in terms of SDGs and various indicators has been lagging behind compared to other continents, and there is a lot of potential and prospects for these countries to work and to deepen the economic ties, the investment ties and the commerce.
I'm curious because I look at what's playing out in Sudan right now, and you're seeing protest action, high inflation, high unemployment. It's very reminiscent of what we saw during the Arab Spring in the past. Some are calling this the second Arab Spring, given the fact that we've seen something similar playing out in Algeria. Is there a concern about a domino effect? Because Egypt experienced this in the past before.
In fact, the Egyptians have always taken stock of what we went through the past years.
Yeah.
And that's very important. And hence, when we moved with any policy reform, we've done it with extensive consultation. We sat with the people, we sat with the private sector, with the civil society, we went to various governorates, we've consulted on the various, so we managed to bring buy-in. So we have buy-in from the Egyptian population, and this is very visible. And we are having extensive discussion with the parliamentarians, and we're revising and we're revisiting a lot of reform. We had the investment law, for example, ratified 1 year back, but now we've listening to the parliamentarians and reflecting on the investors' point of views and concerns regarding some challenges they face in doing business in Egypt. We have taken that into account, and we're going back with the investment law with amendments. So we are being very consultative, inclusive, but also responsive to the changes in the global economy, but also to Egyptian people's needs.